Hi everyone, Rebecca the Frugal Resinista here, and today I am going to be telling you guys how I make coasters. This is the first time I am doing a video based on requests of people that have been watching, so thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you to you guys too. I had to take a couple days off for just life stuff happening, and I haven't been able to paint for a couple days. And I got back on and saw that I have almost 3,000 subscribers, so super exciting. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you guys 4 different ways to make geode coasters. I have been debating and putting this off because I haven't been able to decide which version I want to show you. And then I finally thought, well, that's silly. Let's just go ahead and do a comparison. And then if you guys like one technique over another, you're welcome to go on with that one. So we're going to do 4 different kinds. I'm using a mold that I got on Amazon. It's just a basic silicone mold that a lot of people use for their coasters, and I've got stuff underneath that I gotta make sure it's flat. So I'm going to be doing 2 different geodes in this mold, and then I'm also going to do 2 freeform on my silicone mat. So here we go. I'm going to use a glue gun to do the edges of my freeform geodes, and if you guys want to see how I do that larger scale, I will put the video number of that underneath here so that you can see which one to look at if you want a more in-depth tutorial. But we're going to speed this up for all the prep that I'm going to do, and then I will talk you through my colors and my resin. This is going to be a complete freeform geode. This will work as a coaster only if you've got a cup that kind of goes up in the middle, because I have glass that's sticking up in the middle. But freeform geodes are super fun, so I wanted to do this anyway. Also, this one is another freeform, but this one is going to be totally flat. So I'm going to do it a little differently. I put 3 layers high of glue around the edges for that to be my walls that hold things in. And so that one will look a little different. I'll use the same colors for everything though, so that you guys can make a comparison. The third one is going to be a geode kind of like this, where what you see is going to be the top of it. What you see is what you get. Again, I will leave this part lower so that it can be used a little more as an actual coaster, and I'm going to try to fill it high enough that these don't stick up too much. And then the fourth one, I haven't put any glass in yet, because I'm going to do this one as pouring it so that the bottom of this is actually the top of it. And so when you flip it over, that will be the top. And I'm going to try to create a 3D coaster, just like I've done some 3D geodes with you guys. So I'm going to mix my resin and mix my colors and get them all ready, and then come back to you. Today I am going to be using Stone Coat Countertops Quick Coat resin, as I typically do. So I'm getting ready to mix those together here, but there's only 15 minutes working time, so I'm waiting till the very end till I know I'm ready to pour. I'm also using Apple Barrel White from Walmart, Apple Barrel Lilac Mist from Walmart, Pearlex Pigment Powder, and Reflex Violet, and I will link you to that. And then I am using, you guys know I like Testors brand enamel paint. This is paint for model airplanes and ships and things. And I'm using today in metallic copper. I like this because, I don't know if you've seen enough videos, you'll know that some people do spray paint inside their resin because it floats to the top and adds a really cool effect. Well, these do the same thing, but you don't have to pay $6 for a can of spray paint, and you can pour it rather than try to spray it in, and so it's much less messy. So I'm going to mix these together, and then I'll start pouring. All right, we're going to begin pouring. I will speed this up so that I am respectful of your time, but you might see me pause a few times because I'm doing 4 different techniques, and so I might have to think about what color goes where in which one of these. So here we go. some tiny gold pieces of glass that are almost the size of sand, a tiny bit bigger. I got these at a Dollar General for $3. I'm going to go ahead and add those in, and just a couple of these, because like right here, this is supposed to be solid, but you can really see through it because of all of the clear, and the clear glass really showed it through. So I'm going to add it there. I'm going to add it along the edges inside of this one so that we don't have too much clear. We'll do a second layer for some of these, but I don't want a second layer to be something that absolutely has to happen in order to make these look good. I want it to be more that if it would work to do that, we would enhance it with extra layers. I am about done with the first layer of all these, but I have enough color left in my cups that I think I'm going to go ahead and make a fifth coaster and just show you guys one more technique that I don't necessarily always use, but that's kind of fun. And that is a puddle pour. So I'm just going to keep pouring different colors into the middle of this and let them spread out to make their own geode rings. Hit all these one more time with my torch, and then we will let them dry, and I will show you guys the next step after that. I have let my resin cure for a little over an hour now, and I'm super excited with some of the results. First of all, this was just a last minute addition puddle pour. I haven't really done these. This is beautiful. I need to do a full-size painting of this because this is really cool. I made the decision at the last minute to pour some clear right into the middle, and it kind of gave it the effect of this copper that had been hiding underneath that purple just coming out of the top. It's beautiful. I'm just going to add a top coat, and that is it. On this one as well, I think I'm going to just add a top coat and maybe a tiny bit more glass in here to get rid of some of that clear that's still left over, but that'll just have a top coat. And then both of these, I'll do the edges. This one and this one, I think I'm going to add just a tiny bit of acrylic paint pen lines to add more geode shape design to these. This one, I'm going to add a little bit of this gold glass around the edges too. Obviously, I didn't do my barrier perfectly, and so there's a little bit there. So I'll just cover that a little bit with my gold glass and kind of sprinkle that around. Now, the one thing I really want to talk about is this 3D coaster that I'm working on. So what I've done here is I poured my metallic paint around the edges and just clear in the middle, because remember, again, we're going to flip this over, and that is what will be the top. So the next thing I'm going to do is pour a clear layer and put some stones halfway on the copper color and half into the clear. So once it's flipped over, you'll get a 3D effect of seeing the stones as a second layer beneath this copper color. So just like I did last time, I'm going to speed everything up so that you guys don't have to watch for too long, and we'll get started. All right, we're going to let these cure the rest of the way, and then I will show you guys when they're all done how I finish the edges. It has been 24 hours, and I'm going to pop these out of the molds, except for this one. We're obviously not finished with this one. And just take a look at each of them and show you guys how I finished the edges. These I already lifted just to see if they had stuck, and luckily they did not. So I don't know if you can get a good view. That is the first one. I'm really happy with how that turned out as a freeform geode. Obviously, I've got a little bit of spillage that came out. I'm not too worried about that. I might just glue a couple extra stones around. All that'll happen in fast forward, so you guys don't have to wait forever. I love this one. I think it turned out really nice, and what I do to finish the edges of these is, since it's got this hot glue around the edge, rather than trying to peel the glue off because it's really stuck well to the resin, I use one more layer of my paint that I use, the copper paint in here, and I actually paint the glue. So I'll do that and fast forward as well so you can see all of it. And let's pop these out. Ooh, I love this. This is so cool. So what I'm going to do is probably just take my my razor blade and just go along this very edge with these little loose parts. And then I will probably do one more clear pour on these and just kind of not dome it, because obviously it's a coaster, so you want it to be flat, but make it flat because the edges come up a little bit. Same thing on here, because some of my glass seems to still be sticking up a little bit. So whatever doesn't pop off on its own, I'm just going to level this out. And it's pretty well level, except for a couple little spots that I'll use my razor blade on. So I'm pretty excited with how these turned out. I love that I have 5 different styles all in one. When I finish doing these edges, I will do another little bit of clear and pour on this one and pour on this one just to finish filling that out so the edges don't go up. And then with the rest of my clear, I'll show you guys how I finish this one. So let's get started. Alright, I've mixed my Stone Coat countertop resin. I also put into this little cup a mixture of the little gold glass that I used on some of these, and some white sand that has little glitter flecks in it that I got from Dollar General for $3, and iridescent glitter, and a little bit of purple glitter. And that's the mix that I'm going to put into the bottom of this 3D coaster. So we're going to speed up, and here we go. Alright, I am going to let these finish drying. This one's done. I am so happy with how this turned out. I think that copper painted on the edges is just beautiful. So that one's good. I'm happy with that one. That one's finished. I'm going to paint copper around the edge of this one once it's dry. I didn't do it yet because it was bumpy around the edges and I didn't know if anything would spill over. So that will get a copper coat around the edges. This one is now finished. I was not expecting to make this, and this is one of my favorites, so I'm pretty excited about these. This one, obviously, I'm going to let dry, and then I'm going to dump stuff off. I used diamond dust as a last-minute thing just to add a little sparkle. Now this one, I told you guys about that mix, but I realized while I was pouring it that I forgot to mention I purposely used things that are different densities and different weights. So like the gold stones are the heaviest, and then the white sand is heavy, and then the glitter is lighter. So you'll notice it was a big mix, and then when I poured it, the purple is all on top, but some of it has sunk, so that's going to give us even more of a 3D look with just a general hint of purple in the background. So I am going to pour a little more clear over this just to cover it. I've got a little clear left, and then that's it, you guys. I will show you all of it when it's all dry, and once this edge is painted, And we'll pop this out and I'll show you how it turned out and we will be finished. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video today. As always, if you enjoyed this, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. And you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram as the Frugal Resinista. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you guys try what we did today. Thanks!